So here I will start with the membership problem, and I will discuss one algorithm, that is CYK algorithm, which is a dynamic programming based algorithm to solve this problem. So what is the membership problem? So like you have given a grammar, like for now we are discussing only context free grammar, and we can only apply CYK algorithm on context free grammar. So you have given a grammar G, which is a four tuple V sigma PS, where V is a set of variables and sigma is set of terminals, and P is a set of rules, and S is a start symbol or start variable. So what is the membership problem? Membership problem is like you have given one string W, and you have to test like is this string belongs to the language of this grammar that is represented using L of G. So we will discuss this CYK algorithm, which is a dynamic programming or like table filling uh, based algorithm, and it runs in of n cube time complexity, where n is the length of your string. Table filling means like uh, here you will try to optimize on the computations you are doing by storing the results of already solved subprograms and use those results to solve bigger subprograms. So CYK algorithm is a bottom-up dynamic programming parser. So like dynamic programming algorithms are all bottom-up algorithms, and CYK algorithm was independently developed by these three computer scientists. That's why its name is CYK algorithm. The algorithm was developed to solve this membership problem. So, uh, these are the conditions. Uh, so, in order to apply CYK algorithm on the given grammar and a string W, means in order to test that if this string belongs to this grammar, you should have your grammar in the Chomsky normal form. Otherwise, it is the condition, it will not work otherwise. So that's why it only works for CFGs, context free grammar, because any CFG can be converted to the equivalent Chomsky normal form. What this means is each rule is of the type A goes to BC, where A, B, C are all variables, or A goes to a terminal, means there can be a single terminal on the right hand side, and uh, one more rule is possible, that is S, which is our start variable, can go to a null string, that is epsilon. And one more thing is like if you have given only one string, empty string suppose, then you can directly check it. If you have a rule S goes to epsilon, then only your string can belong to the language of this grammar, because otherwise your all the strings generated if using the rules of this grammar will be of length greater than 0, because all the rules are of this form: A goes to BC, A goes to A. So at least one terminal will be there. So if your W is epsilon, it is a as, direct answer is if you have the rule S goes to epsilon, where S is a start variable, then your answer is yes, and otherwise you can return no. So let's start with the CYK algorithm. So suppose you have a string W of length greater than 0, A1 to AN. So your first character is A1 and the last character is AN, and length of the string is N obviously. So we construct a n by n triangular array, or a 2D array of dimensions n by n, where uh, I will define what each cell in the array will represent. So each cell xij, suppose I am representing it this by this capital X, ij means the index of that cell. What this means is it is a set of variables A, so that if we start applying the rules in some order of this grammar, we can produce the string substring of our given string W uh, from index I to index J. So it means like uh, it contains a set of all the variables, so that you can produce or you can generate substring AI to AJ using the rules of this grammar. and you can use like any number of rules, like, but there is a particular order. If grammar is not ambiguous, then there is some particular order, and by following that order, you can generate this substring AI to AJ. So basically, they are all sets, like X, IJ are all sets, and sets will contain the variables. So, like in dynamic programming, we usually do is we will use the smaller subprograms to solve the bigger subprograms. So in order, in this, what we will do, we will do the induction on the length of the string. So what this means is, uh, we will initially we will, like as a base case, we will do base case by brute force, so that uh, XII will be done using brute force. So all the substrings of length 1 will be done by brute force, and we will use induction. We will do induction on the length, so that we will use the answers of one length, so that we solved for one length substrings, to find the solutions of uh, length two substrings, and we will keep doing this till we reach the length of the given string, that is xin. So this is the matrix will look like for a length 5 string, but uh, it will change if your length of your string will change, and our final answer will be yes or no, depending on if x, like xij is a set of variables. So if your start symbol is in x1, and so what this means is, if you can generate the string, you can generate the whole string a1 to an, if you start from the start symbol. So that means this string belongs to the language. Like, notation is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Hello.
Sir, I didn't understand this Xij set parts. I mean, how that is generated and what this thing. Not about the substring part of this, but can you explain it once more, please?
Okay, so xij is basically set of variables. So, Miss, did you understand that part? Like, what what is this a and substring AI to AJ? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understood that set of variables, but afterwards, there is a star here, right, in that slides.
Yeah, this is just a notation. Like, it means, if you suppose you have a variable a and you replaced it with some variable b, c, and then you replaced b with some other variables, and so it is like you are doing some doing some substitutions, and uh, generating this string aij. So this is just a notation, like nothing else. Have you understood now?
Yes.
Okay. So like, in order to start applying the dynamic program, we will solve we solve for the one length string substrings by using brute force. So let's take an example here. So we have this CNF of a grammar G, and these are the rules of this grammar, and we want to find if this string W equal to BA belongs to this language. So for one length strings, what we can do is, uh, so xii is a set of variables for one length string for I goes to 1 to n. So one, if so you can directly see that if I replace uh, or I can substitute any variable with a rule of the form a goes to bc, where bc are also variables, then my final string will be of length greater than 1, because uh, these variables at some point will end up at least in a string of length 1, right? So what I will do to find the answer for one length string, that is xii, we have to find the rules of form a goes to ai. So if where ai is the ith letter of the given string. So if I have rule of a goes to ai for some variable a, then my variable a will be in the set xii. So like in this case b, so b can be generated using this rule only, b goes to b. So the my x11 will be a set of a single variable, and this variable is b. Similarly for a, we have two rules, a goes to a and c goes to a. So this set will contain two variables. Similarly for like I have only two types of these terminals here. So here we have b for a single b and a comma c for single a. So let's, this is our base or initial condition, but now we will do induction or use these already calculated answers to find the answer of the like to fill all the other cells and finally find the answer if this string belongs to the language. So in order to find answer for xij, we have xij is a bigger subprogram. So in order to find answer for xij, we will divide our program into subprogram of smaller size. So xij will contain variable a. If there is a production, a goes to, means a can be substituted by bc, and for an integer k such that k is between I and j, it can also be equal to I, and b is in xik and c is in k plus 1 comma j. So what this means is, like if I want to like if I want to produce a string x, suppose x12, then my string is of length 2. So these unit rules of the form variable goes to terminal, I am not taking into consideration. So I'm only taking into consideration these type of rules. A goes to bc, where a is also variable, b and c are also variables, and for that I'm exhaustively checking all the points where I can divide my string, and so that it will be divided into two substrings, and if I have the answer for these two smaller substrings, I can use that answer to find the answer for xi, find the answer for the bigger substring, and that is xij. Like xij will contain all the variables that can produce that bigger substring. So I'm checking for all the k's. So xik is definitely, like we are applying induction on the length of the substrings. So xik is definitely done already, and xk plus 1 comma j is also definitely done already. So like this is we are doing for x12. So x12, for x12 there is only one possible value of k, that is 1. So we like we have break we have broken our string into two substrings from xii means x11 and x22. So we have we definitely have answer already, stored answer for this x11 and x22. So we use that. So we have b for x11 and we have ac for x22, and our by using this rule, by using this formula, you can say, like we can for every xik and xk plus 1 comma j, we can find, like we have two uh, uh, two like two variables ba and the second one is BC. And if we have rule of the form A goes to B, suppose it is not A, suppose it is A1 goes to BA, then A1 will belong to my Xij. So if we look at the production rule and we have BA, so BA can be produced by A. So A will be in my Xij, and similarly BC can be produced by S, so S will be in my Xij. So my here Xij is X12, so it will contain SA. Similarly, I will keep doing this for all the cells. I will get something like this, and my topmost row will have only one cell, that is X1n, and X1n contains the start symbol or variable. So this string belongs to this language, means S can produce or derive this string. If we S means let's start variable, obviously. So the running time of this algorithm is not exactly of n cube. It is basically of r square n cube, where r square is the number of variables or symbols. And why this is r square? Because for while filling each cell, we are uh, taking two sets, like x, taking two smaller sets, and trying every variable from those sets, try combining one variable from the first set and one variable from the second set, and try to find the rule of that can be that leads to those variables, like those dual variables. So it is its time complexity is actually of r square n cube, but usually r is very small as compared to n, so we can take it as of n cube. Similarly, space complexity is like you have this grid of order or big of n square, and each cell of this grid will contain like a total r variables possible, at max r variables. So its space complexity is of r into n square, but like if r is small, we can directly take it as of n square, big of n square actually. So the, these are the space and time complexities, and this is the algorithm.